Why you should avoid deadly white sharks. What makes them dangerous? Also known as the white pointer, the great white shark is one of the most feared creatures on the entire planet. This species is quite notable for its size, with males growing up to 13 feet and females growing up to 16 feet on average. That's about as long as a bus. Being at the top of the food chain, the great white shark is an apex predator. Although it occasionally gets into spats with orcas or killer whales, the great white shark has no natural predators. It exists only to feed on other creatures and reproduce. There are a variety of things that make the great white shark so dangerous. For one, its mouth is full of rows upon rows of sharp serrated teeth, each about 3 inches long. The shark also has a very powerful sense of smell, capable of detecting 1 drop of blood from up to 3 miles away. They also have a special organ in their brain that allows them to detect the electrical currents that other living creatures emit. And if that isn't enough, sharks exhibit countershading, meaning that they're very, very hard to detect from above or below. Their bites are strong enough to generate 4,095 pounds of force, and so there is very little that can stand in their way of a good meal. They are carnivores, preying on seals, fish, birds, and cetaceans. They also have an antagonistic relationship with humans. What are some cases of great white sharks interacting negatively with humans? Let's examine a few ahead. Number 8. Photographer gets a close call with 15-foot shark. Daron Verbeck is a popular Hawaii-based photographer who likes to go on underwater dives and take photographs of sea creatures. One day in November 2021, on one of his dives, he encountered way more than he bargained for. At 100 feet beneath the surface of the water, Verbeck spotted what appeared to be a shark. However, given the distance, he felt quite safe. Also, he had incorrectly identified it as a tiger shark and wasn't that worried. But then, before his swim was over, the 15-foot beast started to get closer and closer and closer and closer, right up until it was only 30 feet beneath the surface of the water. That was when he realized it was a great white shark and not a tiger shark. He managed to capture it on video, but he got out of the water before it got too close. Number 7. Husband saves wife from a shark bite. 35-year-old Chantel Doyle, a woman who loves to surf, visited the beach of Port Macquarie, Australia, with her husband Mark in 2020. It was early morning. The two hit the water and were surfing about 32 feet away from each other. A few minutes into it, Chantel felt a heavy impact underneath her board. Before she could check to see what happened, a great white shark emerged from the water and clamped its jaws tight on her calf. It was refusing to let go. At that moment, Chantel began to struggle. The shark would drown her very soon. Luckily for her, her husband saw the shark's head and quickly navigated to her position. From there, it hit its head repeatedly until the creature let go and retreated to the depths. Chantel had to undergo 15 months worth of microsurgery on her leg, combined with painful rehabilitation and physiotherapy. Over a year later, she returned to surfing. Number 6. 2 surfers miraculously escape great white shark. Great white sharks are some of the fastest creatures in the ocean. They can swim up to 15 miles per hour. In the last week of November 2021, 3 friends decided to visit a beach in Puerto Rico and catch some waves as they surfed. One of the 3, George Benitez, stayed on the beach with his camera in order to capture his 2 friends as they surfed. However, rather than excited surfers, Benitez's camera captured something really terrifying. The fin of a great white shark could be seen above the water, pursuing the surfers. Rolando Montez, one of the surfers, can be seen on video making a very panicked bid towards the beach. Luckily, they managed to make it to the beach before the shark got a hold of them. Benitez said to news anchors that although he knew there were sharks in the water, he thought they had enough food, and so they would be safe to swim. Number 5. Man gets attacked by both tiger shark and great white shark. In November 2021, a 57-year-old father who was a regular swimmer at Port Beach, Washington, was attacked by not one, but 2 different sharks. The incident happened at 10 in the morning. At the time, a group of teenagers who were on a boat off the coast saw the attack happen and then proceeded to bravely warn other swimmers and surfers. In addition to this, the boys alerted emergency services, who arrived promptly on the scene. Led by Acting Inspector Emma Barnes, the authorities cordoned the beach off. They then began the search for the victim's body, using 5 water police and sea rescue boats and 2 helicopters. Although the search went on for 24 hours, the body wasn't found. Number 4. Californian diver survives shark attack. In June 2021, at Gray Whale Cove State Beach, a 38-year-old San Francisco resident known as Nemanja Spasojevic went swimming in order to look for crabs. Although he knew sharks were in the area, he thought shark attacks were rare, and so he didn't hesitate to dive in the area. While looking for the crabs, he suddenly felt a sharp pain in his legs. To his shock, a great white shark had attacked him. Luckily for him, this was just an adolescent shark, and so Spasojevic could easily get away from it. Kicking and screaming, he headed towards nearby rocks. From there, he shouted for a fisherman, Thomas Massoda, to come to his rescue in a boat. There were 5 puncture wounds in Spasojevic's leg, and he thought it would have to be amputated. However, by the time authorities arrived, they assured him he would be okay. Number 3. Californian surfer wins fight against shark. October 3, 2021. Off the coast of California, 38-year-old Eric Steinley was surfing a few miles north of Bodega Bay. He was suddenly attacked by a shark, which knocked him off his board, bit his leg, and pulled him into the water. From there, it was a struggle not to get drowned. In the heat of the moment, he remembered some advice he had heard about punching sharks if they bite you. While he tried to punch it, he found that the skin was too hard and leathery for him. But then, in a eureka moment, he hit its eye. That was enough to get the shark to leave him. Steinley remounted his surfboard and then paddled his way back to shore. He left a trail of blood in the water behind him, worrying that the shark or even another shark would try to pursue him. Luckily, he arrived at the beach with no problems and was airlifted to a hospital for treatment. Number 2. Shark attacks film crew boat in New Zealand. This incident happened in the first week of October 2021. A Discovery Channel camera crew off the coast of Stewart Island, Australia, had spotted a great white shark and were trying to attach a camera to its fin in order to get some high-quality shots. The crew was on a tiny boat attached to the main ship by a rope. Instead of achieving their mission, they only succeeded in agitating the shark, which rammed itself into their vessel and cut the rope attaching them to the larger ship. The shark started to drag the rope along with the boat off into the distance, but then it suddenly stopped. For a brief moment, the camera crew thought they were safe, but then yet another shark came to join in the attack. The 2 sharks rammed themselves into the vessel repeatedly, much to the dismay of the camera crew. Well, eventually they seemed to get bored and swam off. The camera crew were then able to get the help they need. Number 1. Fisherman bitten by 13-foot shark. Alex Dodd was attacked by a great white shark while fishing with his friend Brody Payno in Perth, Australia. Dodd had been swimming in the water when he saw the 13-foot beast approaching him with a wide mouth and a flapping tail. Dodd was frozen in fear, later saying that he thought he was staring straight into the creature's soul. It bit his leg under his knee, leaving an 8-inch long wound that was bleeding profusely. Before the shark could circle back for another attack, Payno fished Dodd out of the water. He wrapped Dodd's leg in a wet towel and then called for the authorities. Dodd was then taken to a hospital where he was treated with over 100 stitches. Would you like to encounter the great white shark one day?